Hello. Hi, Lynn. How are you? Hi, Susan. Nice to see you. I love your cactus. It's definitely sunny, probably in Arizona and definitely in Los Angeles. Nice to see you all. Wanted to show you, whenever I have something nice to share, I want to share it. So these are my dahlias from my garden. They're not as great as they were in the previous years because I haven't been using as much water. We're kind of on a little drought here in California. But aren't these stunning? I mean, they just like the symmetry of that dahlia right there is ridiculous. And then this one here, oh, just so amazing. Anyway, I wanted to share that. I'm actually going to put these out to practice today because every time I look over at them, it makes me happy. And so I'm going to put those there. Sometimes creating beautiful things in your view is really important for the brain. So having beautiful things around you, making the intention of the practice for yourself can be really wonderful. And so, yeah, there's that word lovely. Love that word lovely. All right. So any questions or anything before we begin? Hi, Roxanne. Nice to see you. Any questions for me? Please send them to me now. I have an upcoming Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones group program for any of you that are interested in getting to some deeper causes of bone loss or many other things. There's a lot of stuff that comes up in the stool sample that I run in that dysbiosis. If you have any gut issues, there should not be gut issues. So if you're someone with gut issues, running a stool lab is a great way to uncover some healing opportunities. And also the other lab I run is a hair mineral to look at mineral balance. So that's coming up. Go onto my website, debbierobinson.com, to see if you have any more questions or anything for me. And then if there's no questions today, I'd love to get started because I have a plan for today. So I will go back there, and if there's any questions that I'll get to at the end of the class today. All right. So beginning in a chair today, and I'll tell you why in a second. So my structure of teaching is that I teach 5 classes a week. 3 of them are specific to osteoporosis, and I teach 8 weeks where I almost never in almost 9 years ever miss because I plan my life around it. And then there's 1 week off in between the sessions, and I really need that to recharge my batteries and to have no schedule on certain days that week. So it's really important for me to recharge myself. So this is our last week this session, and then we're off all next session. So for those of you that practice with me regularly, I'll be back live the following week. So that's that. All right. So for today's class, I'd like to begin seated for a few reasons. I want to go through Dr. Fishman's first series of 12 postures that were done in 12 minutes typically. So that program is meant to be 12 poses in 12 minutes, a short, sweet practice. But I'd really say you really need to learn the postures and do them efficiently and effectively and safely. That's very important to me that you stay safe when you're creating a lot of bone building stimulation. So that practice, the 12 postures, the initial 12 postures, I like to do that every now and then where we go through all 12 of those postures. And today's one of those days where I'd like to do that. I want to begin standing because when you begin that sequence standing, the weight-bearing aspect helps to stretch the muscles, especially around the hips and the legs and the low back area, so that when we come down into the seated and then onto the ground where we do more stretching and more strengthening of the muscles to support our bones, then the body will be nice and warm. So that's one reason I like to do seated. The other reason is I like to begin in a seated position so that we can actually start to warm ourselves up from the deepest insides, our spine, our lungs, and oftentimes women get fractures in their ribs. So when you can focus on your breath and pull and push on your ribs as you expand your breath more than usual, that's a way to strengthen those ribs, some of those delicate ribs in your torso. So I want to begin today in a breath that actually uses all the different parts of the lungs. There's 2 lungs, the right and the left. There's 3 lobes in each lung. Actually, there's two lobes in the left because the heart is there, yet there's as many breath airways. And then there's 3 lobes in the right. So there's kind of a smaller lobe in the left that could be considered a 3rd lobe. So anyway, most of us breathe up here in the chest, the average person 12 to 15 minutes per day, and it's very shallow chest breathing, which does not allow for that deep exchange of toxins. The lungs are one of the major pathways of detoxification, and it doesn't allow for that exchange. Also, that's where we bring in oxygen, which becomes the fuel source for building muscles and bones and cells, and to give you that internal energy for metabolism and all your internal workings. So learning how to deepen your breath, stretching your apparatus that will actually allow for more oxygen to come in is really critical to health, bone health and beyond, healthy aging and all of it. So we're going to begin today in a seated position because then the lungs can actually expand in all the ways that they're meant to. And we can use the hand position where you can actually get your mind to go into your palms and direct the breath to these 9 places on our body. That's what we're going to do. So come wherever you are, come forward. Let's see the hand positions. I'm going to guide you with closed eyes. I'd like you to have an understanding before we get to that place. So when you have your palms and you bring your mind to breathing to your palms, you're firing up your conscious brain in a certain center of the brain. So this is really brain yoga and disrupting that chronic stress loop. So you have your hands like this, the thumbs are on with your palms. So the hand positions are going to be the lower ribs, the middle ribs, and the upper ribs, getting to the lower lobes of the lungs, the middle lobes of the lungs, and the upper lobes of the lungs. The hands are like this. There's 3 different locations in each section. So we have the front of the ribs, you have the side of the ribs, and then you have the back of the ribs. Let me show you that. So the back of the ribs, the back of the lower ribs is here, or here, you know where that lower floating rib is. The back of the middle ribs would be a little higher here. And when we come to the back of the upper ribs, we come like this and we touch with our fingers the upper ribs or the upper lungs. So you try to breathe to your fingertips here. So it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And the upper is 1. The second one, instead of going to the sides underneath the armpits, it's a very delicate area. We're going to take our hands like this and bring your hands onto your waist. That will be number 2 for the upper. And then you touch the top of the lobes of the lungs for the top. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 clavicle bones, 2 waist, 3 top of the lungs. So I'm going to guide you through this. You'll close your eyes. I'll do 3 breaths in each location, and then we'll move there. So we'll really do 27 rounds of breath. Really bring your awareness to your palms because we want to expand our lungs as much as possible, warming your spine, your ribs, bringing in more oxygen for more energy, and preparing our torso. So when we do some of the rotational force in the practice of yoga for osteoporosis, you make sure that you're safe. You have a lot of fluid flow, blood flow, and even some correction of your alignment and posture so that you stay safe when you create that deep stimulation for bone growth. So be in your chair, be away from the back of the chair. So what I like to say is come forward, and then 1 tushy cheek at a time moves back so that you actually feel the lower back touching the chair and you have your upper back free. It's not supported. You're not slouching back, you're away so that you can actually have access to put your hands on the back. So try that now. Try to take your hands, see if you can put your hands on the lower ribs, which you know are probably down by here. They kind of angle down, that's a floating rib at the back. And then see if you can go a little higher, take your hands, go a little higher up to the middle of the back, try to get behind your heart. And if you can't do any of these positions, you could have your hands on your thighs, directing your breath to your palms. Okay, so let's see, follow along, don't worry, do your best, leave the rest. Don't get too caught up in it. Just bring your awareness to your breath and to your palms. We're going to begin with the hands on the lower ribs. Elbows are at the side of the body. And if you feel that you need to move away from the back of the chair, do that to be even more upright. Close your eyes. Begin to breathe to your lower ribs, to the palms. Feel your body moving into your palms. Breathing in and out through the nose, keep the mouth closed. Feel the ribs moving to your palms. So you're going to follow along with me. Let your elbows be alongside your body, that your spine is long, chin parallel towards the ground. Push your head back so it's on top of your spine. Let's prepare. Take a deep exhale. Let's begin. Inhale, lower ribs, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Slide your hands to the side of the lower ribs. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Slide your hands to the back of the lower ribs or on the thighs if that's what you need. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. By the heart. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Slide your hands to the side by the heart. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Hands to the back of the body behind the heart or on the thighs. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Bring your hands to your clavicle bones. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Bring your hands down on your waist, right where your legs attach to your body. Exhale. Breathe to your lower armpits. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Bring your fingertips to the upper lobes of the lungs in the back of the body, elbows alongside your head. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Bring your hands down onto your thighs. Keep your eyes closed. Breathing in and out through your nose. Take a big exhale. Inhale to your lower ribs, your middle ribs, your upper ribs. Exhale from the lower ribs, the middle ribs, upper. Inhale lower, middle, upper. Exhale lower, middle, upper. Inhale lower, middle, upper. Exhale lower, middle, upper. Continue on your own. Let your mind go to the lower ribs all the way around, and then to the middle, and then to the upper. As you breathe in and as you breathe out, follow the ring around the lower, the middle, and the upper. Like a barrel, feel yourself filling up with breath and emptying. Finishing up your last 2 breaths. Letting your breath go. Give it back to your body to breathe itself, as it always does every day, all day. Take your hands, rub your hands together. Bring your hands to cover your eyes. And blink your eyes open. Bring your hands down and notice if there's any relaxation in your body and in your mind. Psychological stress leads to bone density loss. So when we're in that chronic limbic loop, invisible brain, or if it's something we know we have in our lives that we're worried about and thinking about, that's not good for your bones, not good for aging, not good for a lot of things. So when we take the time out to practice breath, to give the mind so much to do that it cannot focus on all the things it worries about all the time. And in this case, to actually really bring oxygen into all the different nooks and crannies of the lungs, to fully oxygenate your body. That is also a part of what we need to do for health, for bone health, for healthy aging, for stress management, which is a large part of disease management, because 90% of stress leads to disease. So practicing breath, this one is a great way to really direct your awareness to all of these different areas so that you really fully get in there and expand your lungs. All right, let's do some movement. Come forward, and we're gonna come all the way up. So you're gonna need props for today's practice. So if you have them, move them off to the side. If you have them already, then you're gonna come to the very front edge of your chair. So come all the way to the front edge of your chair, but have your feet back. So my feet are not underneath my knees. They're not forward. My feet are intentionally back. My body is forward. You could have your legs hip distance. Take your hands, your shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Hands are down. Exhale. And then bring your body forward, bending at the hip joint. Keep your front spine open. Push your feet into the floor, hands are down. Exhale. Inhale, lift your hands up, lift your tushy just a few inches away, and then bring yourself back down. Coming forward, loading up your legs, loading up your glutes. Push your feet into the floor. Come up without momentum. Challenge the hip joint. Keep your head lifted. Notice if your head wants to go down. Don't let it. Look forward and look up. Push your heels in like crazy. Squeeze your tushy like crazy. And on your next one, bring yourself all the way up. Noticing how that is for you. Let's move the props off to the side. Chair if you need it. If balance is an issue for you, have your chair nearby or have it with you. Be near a wall if that's something that you'd like to do. Let's warm up the body, preparing for the practice. So let's take the feet, warming up your feet. Flip your toes under, stretch the top of the foot, stretching the top of the foot. Maybe you need your foot to be back a little bit more. Maybe you need to be on a chair. Maybe you need to hold onto the wall. Do whatever is appropriate for you. Try to stretch as much of your foot as possible. And then come forward onto the toes. Bend the toes this way, stretching your toes. And then flip your toes under. You're coming straight down on them. You need to decide how much body weight to put in there. So you see what feels appropriate for you. Notice where you experience this stretch. And then come on to the side and bend your foot. So you're on the pinky toe edge, coming a little bit higher now onto the ankle joint on the side of the foot. And let's switch to the other. So you flip under, all the toes are on the floor. So you're getting the top part of your foot, maybe up to where it attaches to the leg even. Notice if it's more on one side or the other. Is it more big toe edge? You can move side to side a little here, feeling and noticing what you notice. Try to keep your head lifted. And then bend your toes. So bend the toes, lifting the heel up a couple of times to bring some fluidity in there. If you want to stay up and move around on the toes, you could stretch the toes like this. So it's very individual. Where do you feel like you need it the most? Does it create cramping for you? You may not be able to go all the way in, so do what you can. And then flip the toes under, so it's the toes you're stretching, coming straight down on top of your toes. It's kind of an interesting thing and not something that most of us do, so this can be a big piece of awareness for a lot of people. This is actually great for fall prevention, which leads to fracture prevention, right? Because bones break because we fall. They don't just break because they're low density or weak. They break because we fall. Flip your toes onto your pinky toe edge. And then do a little bit of prancing. Try to let it be the knees that move so your torso kind of stays stationary. The torso doesn't move at all. It's the lower legs, and the knees are tracking forward. And then come to a static place. So that's feet and ankles, an important thing to warm up when you're going to practice. Let's do some hip joint movements. You're going to do circles here. Try to keep your spine nice and long. This is really, the pelvis is moving. The head pretty much stays over the feet the whole time. The head is not going. You're not bringing yourself forward and around. You're keeping your head on top of your feet, and you're letting your pelvis go around, really pushing it forward to the sides, to the back, to the side, forward, and then turn that into a circular pattern. Warming up the hips. And then go in the other direction. It's like a hula hoop. And then bring yourself back to center. Bring yourself to center, shake your legs. Shake your whole leg. And then come a little wider with your stance. Let's do a little hula. So pushing your hip up. This is like the walking gait. When you walk, one side of your pelvis elevates, the other side depresses. So this right here, this movement, one side of your waist gets shorter, the other side gets longer. So try to move side to side. You're staying in this same plane, side to side. You can put your hands on your waist if you'd like. And then let's start pushing our body weight to the heels. You could even lift your toes up here. So you really keep this in your tushy and in your legs, side to side. Spine is nice and long, and spine stays open, side to side. And then bring yourself back to center, come all the way up. Let's take the hands down alongside the body. Keep your feet hip distance, hands are down. Exhale, and then inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Try to go through your maximum range of motion, really spreading your fingers. Feel that stretch in the arms. When you get up to the top, feel the belly stretch. And then if you can, when you get up to the top, add a back bend in the upper spine, if that's appropriate for your body. Inhale, stay up, stay here. Let one hand go down, one hand go up. And then bring yourself up and over. Keep your arm alongside your ear. So this is more important to be lateral at the side of your body than it is to be high up. So if you come here and your body collapses, if this chest collapses to do this lateral stretch, it's not what we want. We want the arm to be alongside the ear, so you may need to straighten up a little bit. So move functionally with awareness to keep your joints safe. That's where most injuries and most pain is. That's where wear and tear and arthritis happens, which will lead to being sedentary, which will lead to losing muscle and then losing bone. Bring yourself through the last one and then come through center. All right. So let's begin with the postures. Bring your feet together. We're going to begin with mountain. So this is not one of the original 12. This is in the second series. This is a posture of alignment. It's a great rest between each posture, and it's a great place to begin. Push your feet into the floor. Bring your awareness down to your feet. Do you feel equal in both heels, both pinky toe edges, both toe mounds, and below the toes? Do your arches feel like they're actively moving away from the ground? Really push into your pinky toe edges and into your heels, and then correct your pelvis so your pelvis is nice and upright. Long spine, reach down with your feet, down with your hands, and up with your spine. Push your head back on top of your spine. Chin parallel towards the ground. Arms are alongside your body, pushing towards the back. Heart lifted. Mountain. Take one more breath. Go ahead and relax for a breath. We're going to come into tree. So toes together for a little bit more advanced. Toes hip distance, if that's too hard for you to do them together. Take your hands down alongside your body. Push your body onto one side, bending your toes so your kneecap goes straight ahead. And then with the toes on the floor, can you swivel to let your knee go out to the side? Pick the foot up in between the ankle and the knee joint. Push the foot into the leg into the foot. Push into the ground, be as tall as you can be. Find something to gaze at, a drishti, a point that you can focus on. Something that doesn't move. And then last breath. Leg forward. Try to put your feet back down. Maybe the toes touch if that's a position you're in. Hands are down. Push your feet down. Move your body weight to the other side. Bend the knee. knee out to the side. Bring the foot up in between the ankle and the knee. Push down with your feet, long with your body, and find a focal point to help you with balance. Strengthening your balance, strengthening your posture, your alignment, and your hip. Last breath. Knee forward, bring yourself out. Shake your feet. Come back to mountain. We're going to move into triangle posture. A chair for some of you, a block for others. Do what's appropriate for you. So let's move into triangle. When you bend down, bend your hips. Keep your spine nice and long. Wide stance here. Pick your toes up. Move your toes under the chair and the heel away from you. Shoulders are forward, up, back, down. Reach down with your hands. Exhale. And as you inhale, bending at that front hip, reach and stretch the armpit. Bring your hand down either on top of the chair, seat of the chair, or the block if you can bend your hip that deeply, not the spine. Long spine, and then rotate your heart up towards the sky, especially the upper chest of the arm, the lower arm. Really try to push that forward, rotating your chest, your heart, your spine. Push away from the chair or away from the block. Push away from the ground. Create a lot of force in your body to strengthen your muscles and bones. And mind. Take one more breath. If you have the block, you can bring it with you. Coming to the other side, using the chair or not. Block, if you're going to use a block. Set yourself up. Wide stance. Lifting your toes, bringing your toes underneath the chair. Your heel up, heel away from you. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and they're down. Reach down with your hands. Exhale. Inhale. Start bending that front hip joint, reaching your hands up. Stretch that front armpit till you can't go any farther. Then you either put your hand on the top of the chair, seat of the chair, or the block. Coming into triangle. Deep hip flexion. Active feet. And then rotational force for the trunk. Feel a lot of tension, a lot of pulling, a lot of tension in your pelvis, your legs, and in your spine. Press your heart forward, rotate your trunk. Looking up's a little extra tension on the neck. If that's too intense, you could look down. It adds a little more strength. If you are looking up, take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up. Bring yourself out. Back to Tadasana to realign. Feel that in your feet, the heels, pinky toe edges, and the toes. Moving on to Warrior Two, prepare your space. From Tadasana, we widen our stance as wide as you can. Bring your toes up, toes are away, back, heels away. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and they're down. Reach down with the hands, push away from the back, pinky toe edge as you bend the front knee, pushing the knee to the side, and the back leg, the knee is opening as well. Exhale, and then you inhale, lower down, bending that front hip, that front knee. Go as low as you can here. Really push away from that back foot, especially the heel and the pinky toe edge. And then push that front foot into the floor a lot, especially the heel. Feel that tension in the glutes. Push down with your feet and then lengthen your spine, lift your heart, push your arms back, lower your arms, lengthen your neck. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. Bringing yourself out, all the way up. Bring your feet forward. Let's go to the other side. Toes are away, heels away. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and they're down. Bending, pushing away from the back foot, bend the knee, exhale, and then inhale to lower down into your warrior two on this side. If you come down and your knee goes forward of your foot, walk that leg forward. Push long with your arms, long with your legs. Pushing into the ground, draw that energy up into your pelvis. Lengthen your spine, arms are back, lower the shoulders, long neck, long spine, lifted heart. Activate the knees, push the front knee to the side, push the back knee, trying to move towards the back. Almost like you're spreading your knees away from each other. Reach long with your arms. Take one more breath. And then unbend. Bring yourself out. Back to Tadasana Mountain. Take a couple of breaths down to your feet to relax your breath. We're moving on to side angle. I like to do my side angle with a block. You could use a block or you could use your arm on your leg. Wide stance. Front toes forward, back heel away. Slight bend in that front knee. Shoulders are up, back and down. Slide those shoulder blades onto the back of your body, down towards your pelvis. Exhale, and then inhale, push away from that back leg to lower straight down, bending your front hip and your front knee. From warrior two, you reach long, inhale, bring your hand on top of your thigh or on the block in your side angle. Bend as low as you can, pushing away from the block or pushing your arm in your leg. Push away from the floor, long body. And then rotate your spine forward. Give it your all for 30 seconds. Last breath. Bringing yourself back up through the warrior two and all the way out. Moving the block, if you have the block, to the other side. Feet are forward, toes are forward, and then preparing the feet for the side angle on the other side. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Exhale, pushing away from the pinky toe edge, bending the front knee. You're going to inhale to lower into your warrior two. Reaching, stretching that front armpit, and then onto your thigh for side angle or onto the block. Or arm on the inner thigh. Push your feet into the ground. Lengthen your torso, lengthen your spine. Rotate your spine forward. Take one more breath. Bringing yourself back to the warrior two and all the way out. Back to Tadasana. Ground your breath. Breathe down to your feet. Breathe to your lower ribs, your middle ribs, and your upper ribs. And exhale from the lower, the middle, and the upper. Moving on to the twisted triangle. So maybe a block and a chair, or just a chair, whatever your variation is of the twisted triangle. Now we get the opportunity to create a lot of stimulation for the hip joint and the pelvis. Really important here. We're gonna get a lot of rotational force as we lock our legs in and then we rotate forward, giving some rotational force to the pelvis, to the posterior hip, and to the spine. So bring a foot forward. The forward leg is the one you're going to rotate over. You're going to turn in the direction over that front leg. Back foot is about 2.5 feet apart. Push your feet into the floor, toes are forward, hands are on your waist. Push your feet down, and then you're going to inhale to load into the hips. Deep flexion in the hips, long spine, head is lifted. You're going to start to feel that front leg stretching. Maybe you need your hand up high on the chair or on the seat of the chair, or you can come all the way down without compromising your spine. You're not bending your spine to get down, you're bending your hip. Push your feet into the floor, lengthen your spine, hand on the waist or the back of the hand on the sacrum, really getting that rotational force to come into your spine. Push your feet into the floor, push the big toe mound of the back foot into the floor, and push away from the floor with the big toe mound of the back foot to bring that ability to rotate even more over that front leg. Take one more breath. Taking the tension out of this, you take the front leg and bend the front leg. Keep your spine long, head lifted. Bring yourself up and bring yourself out. And then bring yourself to the other side. Catch your breath if you need. This is a pretty big posture. Let's bring the front foot forward, the back foot back. Both toes are pointing forward. Pushing your feet into the floor, the back heel stays on the ground. Exhale, and then inhale with a long spine, a lifted chest, open heart. Flex forward and then bring your hand across your body onto the chair, the seat, or the block. Pushing away, getting length in your spine and rotation. Bring your awareness to the big toe mound of the back foot. Really push the back heel, the back foot, and the big toe mound into the floor so you can get some forces to add rotation to your body. Push that back heel into the floor. Take one more breath. Bending the front leg, take the tension out, keep the head lifted. Bring yourself up and out. Coming to mountain. Awareness down to your feet, the heels, the pinky toe edges, the toes, the toe mounds. Arches are actively lifting away from the ground. Breathe down to your feet. And then relax. Shake your wrists, shake your legs. Let's clear your space. Chair off to the side. Coming down onto the ground. You're gonna need your block, your blanket, your strap. Taking your blanket, fold your blanket, and then fold it again. Put your blanket up at the top of the mat, bending your hips to get your props to bring them over to where you need. Let's come down with awareness. Head is up, spine is long. Bring a foot forward, bring a foot back. Hands are on the waist, elbows are back, or take that front hand on the front thigh, and then slowly push that front foot into the floor, push that front heel into the floor a lot, activate that front glute. As you lower down onto the ground slowly, and then bring yourself onto your seat. So you come to sit on the blanket, reaching the flesh away to get some space in your body. We're gonna do the seated twist with a straight leg. You take the block behind you. I'll instruct left side, so let's do left side first. Take your block behind you on the left side. Bending your left leg, hold onto your leg, get tall in your spine. Take your right hand onto your left leg and take the left hand onto the block behind you. You push down to get nice and tall. Push the right leg into the floor, the left foot into the floor. Take an exhale. As you inhale with length, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs rotate to the left. Push your right leg into the floor, push your foot into the floor, your left foot. Long spine, lower the shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Press the shoulder blades forward to lift your heart. Deep breaths down to your belly. Take one more breath. To come out, you come out with length, unwinding your spine, push the block over to the other side. Let's switch sides. Bending the right leg, holding on to the right leg, get nice and tall. Left hand on the right leg, right hand on the block behind you. Push down to get tall. Push your leg and foot into the floor. Exhale, and then inhale. Lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs rotate to the right. Constantly refining your movement. Push your feet into the floor, your leg into the floor. Lower your shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Push the shoulders forward to lift your heart. Long neck. Keep adding that rotational force. Take one more breath. And then you're going to slowly unwind, bringing yourself all the way out. Legs are straight. We're going to come into the bent leg seated twist. So take your blanket over to the right so that your right buttock is on the blanket. Bend your right leg so that your right heel is underneath the left buttock. Block will be on the left side. Take your left leg up and across your body. So you have your left leg over to the right. You're sitting on your right heel on your tushy, and your other buttock is on the blanket. Hand is on the block. Hold on to the left leg with the right arm. Long spine here, pushing down in the block to get length. Lower the shoulders. Exhale. And then inhale. Lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs rotate to the left. Lower your shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Push the heart forward, lift the heart. Keep that right elbow lifted. Don't let it collapse. Push down in the ground with your feet, lengthen your spine. Take one more breath. You're going to slowly, with length, unwind. And coming to the other side. Walk over to the other side. Move the blanket over to the left. Bring the right buttock onto, bringing the left buttock onto the blanket. Bend the left leg, left heel goes underneath the right buttock. And arrange yourself so that your right buttock is on the left heel. Your left leg is forward, and take your right leg across your body to the left side. Left hand goes onto the right thigh, and the hand goes onto the block behind you. Pushing down to get length in your spine. Lower your shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Exhale. And then inhale. Lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs. Rotate to the right. Create tension. Push down into the ground with your feet. Push into the block and lengthen your spine and rotate. Take one more breath. Bringing yourself all the way out. Push the block to the side. Unbend your legs. Come to sit on your blanket. Shake your legs. Let's come up, unfolding your blanket. Put your blanket into the middle of the mat. Let your joints settle here. Come to all fours. Hands are pretty wide. Let's move yourself back and forth, side to side. Let the hip joints settle, shoulder blades. Move to the back of the body and the shoulder joints settle. And bring yourself all the way up. So I like to do a plank posture here because we're here and it's an amazing posture. So let's come on to a plank, any variation that you would like. Pointer fingers are forward. Spread your hands to absorb the pressure so your wrists don't take all of it, but they take a lot to get strong. Let's take one foot back and then take the other foot back. Any variation of plank that works for you, modified, forearm, whatever. Push your hands into the ground, push away from the floor, push your toes into the ground, push your heels back. Really push away from the ground so you feel that strong force in your body, long spine. Press your belly button towards your spine. One more breath. And then bring yourself down, all the way up here. Shake your wrists. We're going to come down onto the ground to do the floor postures. So before we go, wherever your head is going to be, make sure that your block and your strap are handy. So bring them wherever you need them. Then let's take the blanket. Put the blanket up to the top of the mat. And the way we come down onto the ground matters. Everything matters. All movements matter. What's happening to the front of your spine? Keep it nice and long. And take your hand, reach your hand long, and bring yourself all the way down onto the ground. Blanket is underneath your head. Hands on your belly. So we're going to come into the bridge posture, back bend. I like to do this with a block. So we're going to get a block, put a block between the legs. The goal is to bend your spine as much as possible, like a rainbow. So you're really trying to push the shoulder blades into the heart, to push the heart up towards the sky, to introduce as much back bend into the upper spine as you can. You're using your arms and your legs to push away from the ground, strengthening the muscles of the back, but really trying to push the vertebra into itself so that you create bone building stimulation. Arms could be bent or straight. Let's take the blanket away from your head so your head is on the ground, and then rock side to side to get the shoulder blades underneath you. Arms bent or straight, up to you. Walk your feet as close as you could get them to your body. Squeeze your block. Tilt your pelvis back, let your low back press into the ground. Exhale. Squeeze your tushy, squeeze your block as you peel your spine up and away. Close your eyes. Feel one vertebra at a time leaving the ground. And feel the weight and the tension of pushing away from the ground as you lift your body against gravity. Try to add as much back bend to the upper spine as you can. Deep breaths here. Squeeze that block. Take one more breath. And then you're going to slowly bring yourself down one vertebra at a time. Lift your heels off, lengthen the low back. Bring the blanket back behind your head. Walk off to the side. Draw the knees into your chest and rock side to side. Feet are on the ground, hands on your belly. A couple of breaths to your low back. We're going to come onto a back bend, the locust pose. That's done on the belly. So let's roll onto our tummies. Take your blanket away from you. Come up onto your elbows. Let your legs be straight off your body and really push the toenails towards the ground. Hands are into the floor, and then lengthen your spine and lengthen your torso. Pull your spine long. Draw the lower ribs away from the front of the belly as you bring yourself all the way down onto the ground. And then fold your hands, let your forehead rest on your back of your hands. Breathe to your belly. Try to push the pubis bone, very bottom part of your torso, towards the ground. That'll be very protective when you come into your back bend. So let's do locust. Bringing the hands alongside your body, either by themselves or clasped. Up to you. Soles of the feet are up towards the sky. Take an exhale. Inhale to reach up and away from the ground. Long legs, long arms. Really reach long with your toes, long with your legs. Push your pubis bone towards the ground. Feel that tension as you press the back of the spine into itself. Try to push your heart forward, bending your spine as you lift up. Take one more breath. And then lower down. Bend your elbows, put your hands together, let the forehead rest on the back of the hands. Take your legs wide, bend your legs, and let your legs go side to side. Let your legs go long. Breathe down to your belly. And then bring your blanket back up. Arm goes long. Bring yourself onto your back. Bending your knees, hands on the belly. Gather your breath. Moving on to the leg stretches. Let's take the strap. Let's begin with the left leg today. Draw the knee into the chest. Take the strap on the left arch. The goal here is to pull on the pelvis as much as possible, creating as much bone building stimulation as possible. So the legs, we want the leg to be straight. Take your hands, wrap your hands around the strap. Pull down firmly. And if you'd like to straighten the right leg, you can. Pull the leg down, push the leg away from you with the muscles, and then let's begin. Draw the leg towards the wall behind you. Let it be just the leg. Don't let the pelvis follow. So push the right leg into the floor, pull down on the strap, push that leg away from you. Lots of resistance here to pull on the pelvic bone. Long neck. Create as much tension as you can. Breathing in and out through your nose. Last breath. And then release. Take the tension out. Let's move on to the inner thigh stretch, pulling onto the pelvis on the left leg. Take the strap in the left hand. Slide your hand down the strap. Right leg could be straight or bent, up to you. Keep the leg pretty high. Exhale. And then inhale to lengthen out to the side. Getting the left inner thigh as far away from the right inner thigh as possible. Keep that right side pelvis rooted down into the ground. Push into the arch, active feet. One more breath. Bring yourself back to center. Take the strap off. Let's switch legs. Right leg up. Nice firm hold, wrapping your hands around the strap, drawing that leg really deep so you feel that right buttock, a lot of pressure in the ground. Straight leg. Straighten the left if that's appropriate for you. A little easier if the leg is bent, so do what's appropriate for you. The goal here is to pull on your pelvis. Pulling down on the strap, push the leg away with strong muscular action, and then let's inhale to pull back, to stretch the back of that upper right thigh, or the upper right thigh, pulling on the pelvis. Push the leg away and pull it back. Create those opposing forces. Strong forces build strong bones. Take one more breath. And then release the tension. Come into tension and out of tension. Let's go to the inner thigh stretch. So bring your body into whatever position you need to have the space to do that. Take your strap down your hand. Leg is high. Exhale. And then inhale to come into the stretch. Right thigh is as far away from the top left thigh as possible. Keep creating tension. Straight leg, pulling the leg up towards the wall behind you, pushing the left foot or the left leg into the ground, keeping that left pelvis rooted down. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. Strap is off. Draw the knees into the chest. Spread your legs, hold on behind your thighs, draw the knees deep towards your armpits. Feel that lower back pressing into the ground, a little side to side. If you could grab your big toes coming into happy baby, try that. And then it's time to allow the integration of everything that was practiced, all the bone building stimulation, muscle stimulation, to find what it needs to build more muscle, build more bone. Stay with your breath, stay here, give your body the opportunity to build as much muscle and bone as possible after your practice. Stay with your breath. Begin to deepen your breath. Feel your fingers and your toes. Bending your knees one at a time, eyes are closed, feeling and noticing your body move, how it moves, what feels good, what feels unsafe, rocking side to side. Bring yourself onto your side and then push yourself up. Keep your eyes closed, stay inside. Take your hands together, rub them together, and let the heart press to the hands to the heart. Feel that lengthened spine, activation of the upper back, long neck. So in gratitude for yourself showing up, creating all of this stimulation to create stronger muscles, stronger bones, a stronger you, because you live in this package and it needs to be strong for you to live your life and do all that you dream of doing and should do and want to do. We're going to close with sound, letting the exhalation vibrate, make a beautiful humming sound. Take a big exhale, make a lot of space in your lungs. Inhale. In gratitude to yourself, gratitude for the wisdom, gratitude for the practice. Thank you. Namaste. That was a practice proven to increase bone density. There were actually 14 postures in today's practice. It was the original 12 from the first series and then 2 from the second. We added mountain posture and plank, which are 2 fantastic postures to find in your body as often as you can. All right, how are you feeling? Oops, love to know how that was for you all. Tatiana, nice to have you here from Atlanta and Arizona. We're all around the country practicing stronger bones, stronger muscles. Awesome to have you all here. Yes, Tatiana, the new group program, I will send you that information today. I'm starting now ordering labs for everyone who signed up already. And the group part starts on September 20th. So we have a few weeks to get those labs in. And then it includes private sessions for your own custom protocol. And then there's a group section where we discuss bones, the gut, minerals, and lifestyles that we can have for the rest of our lives that are supportive of our muscles and our bones, healthy aging, which is what I'm trying to do, what you're trying to do. So I will send that to you when I get off. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great week off, but don't stop moving. Keep moving. All right. Bye-bye. Good. Yeah, strong class. Good. And you're strong, Lynn. So strong and appropriate for you. All right. Bye, everyone. Oh, Susan. Yeah, it is. Susan, it is gluing. It is integration. It's called a posture of integration because the body that you showed up in is different from the body that you're leaving with. And that last posture, Shavasana, is actually called corpse pose. It's the death of the old body and then the birth of the new body, the new memories, all that stimulation that was created, the more space, the more length, the more strength. That is what we die to come back with. I know that sounds morbid, but that's what it is. It's the what doesn't exist anymore to what does exist. So thank you for pointing that out. Roxanne, thank you. Yeah. Well, I love this. And thanks for saying that. That means a lot to me. So thank you so much, ladies. I love having you out there with me. All right. Bye-bye.